following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American Open Wheel Series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Thanks to the wonders of helium, we float high above a dusty Northern California landscape. The Lionheart IndyCar Series has come to this place for the 12th round of 24 of its Season 6 championship. Presented by First Medical Equipment, it is the GSRC Grand Prix of Sonoma, and all the action from green flag to victory donuts is brought to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. To everyone watching on the iRacing Esports Network, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the Countdown to Green presented by the Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate all the simulated Dallara IR18 action that will immediately follow as we count down to green for the GSRC Grand Prix of Sonoma. I'm Bill Soup Zahn, sharing the microphone with former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Amjad Yaman has director duties armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by Dougie Beard. Today's race will close the book on the first half of the Lionheart IndyCar Season 6 Championship, a campaign that has seen 5 different winners over the first 11 races, 3 of those claimed by the current point leader Andrew Havaketch Kinsella. But all of Kinsella's wins have been on an oval. When it comes to a twisty circuit, Adam Blocker has been the man who can, winning 2 of 3. Richie, Blocker should feel confident again because this late afternoon we are once again on a road course.
Absolutely, and thank you, Soup. And folks, before I talk about the track here, let me remind you that everything during the Countdown to Green comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit. Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer, with instructional video and the how-tos that will help you perform on this virtual track. Check it out at simpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's talk about today's venue. So today we're at Sonoma Raceway, nestled in the Sonoma Mountains, just east of San Francisco, in the center of California's beautiful wine country. This place is pretty amazing. It's up and down, blind corners over a crest, down bottom corners, not very much straightaways. We got good passing zone going into turn 7 at the end of the drag strip and into turn 11. Some of you younger crowd might know this track as Infineon Raceway. I still call it Sears Point Raceway, as it's changed a variety of owners over the history of this place. The best way to take a real good view of this 2.5 mile, 12 turn track is probably jump on board the GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC IR18, so let's do a lap around Sonoma. Turn 1 feels more like a street course with walls on either side. This flat-out blast leads right into 2, where the blind, curved entry really tends to breed pileups on lap 1. Then comes 3 and 3A, where the car will compress on the first half, then get super light on the second. From there, it's a short burst into 4, which can sometimes give you a chance for a surprise pass. Just be careful not to overshoot it into the downhill braking zone. After that, 5 is flat out until you hit the carousel. This plunging corner will feel like it goes on forever. While it's tempting to push the entry, you really need to be more concerned about the exit as it dumps you onto the drag strip. This is really your best opportunity for an overtake, so drivers are going to be smelling blood in the water when their opponent doesn't carry their speed well. It's very hard braking into 7, which has the added difficulty of a double apex. After that, you're thrown into the S's. This third apex is about the only place you'll need to lift, but everything else through this section is all flat out. This all eventually culminates in turn 10, which is kind of old school with its lack of runoff, but again, it's foot all the way to the floor through here. Then there's your last place to sneak a pass in, the turn 11 hairpin. It's a simple 180-degree turn, but again, the lack of runoff means precision and guts will make the difference between the fast drivers and the slow drivers. From there, you just straighten out the last kink, and hopefully you've now finished the lap around Sonoma.
The disembodied voice of Joe Peak doing what no voice does better, talking and taking the viewer around the racetrack, this time Sonoma. Now let's take a lap around the points, starting with the first medical equipment driver championship. Keep in mind, these are the raw numbers that do not take into account the 3 drop races allowed for in the rules. Adrenaline Motorsports places 3 drivers inside the top 10 in the form of the point leader, Andrew Kinsella, 3rd place, Adam Blocker, and Joe Branch in 10th. Sandwiched between Kinsella and Blocker is Loud Pedal Motorsports' Brian Yosek. Dandy Dan Guerin for Synergy Motorsports has been slowly overcoming a horrible start, and now he finds himself up another spot into 4th. This commentator is going to guess that No Name Racing's Joe Hassard is feeling pretty good about his 5th place finish. No big climbers or sinkers this round, so let's move to the team championship presented by HPP Simulations. The Milwaukee Mile saw Adrenaline and Synergy tie for the top score with 126 points each. Despite Brian Yosek's win, the best Loud Pedal could do was 4th, falling in behind No Name Racing. But whatever the results from the last round, all the teams are cemented in their positions. So let's go over to Richie to talk about the rookies.
Yeah, the rookie standings are presented by Butt Kicker. And we have Steven Larkamp. He's 7th overall in the overall standings, but he's leading these rookies, the rookie standings, and he has a 2nd, 4th, and 7th on the road courses this year. So he should be looking pretty good here. Bart Workman is for Skidmark Motorsports, finished 41st at Milwaukee, and he lost some ground to the leader there. Another Skidmark driver, Brian Beard, moves up a spot, and Samuel Ryman for Controlled Chaos and Justin Weaver for 8 Ball are close behind with only a few markers back in basically 4th and 5th.
All right, considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. All right, it's time for Professor Lugnut's setup corner. And if you're ever on trial for murder when all you did was steal a can of tuna, you might want to pay attention to what Richie Hearn has to say. Go ahead, Rich.
Earlier this season, we talked about gear ratios and how they set up a car. But now we are going to take a dive into the more complex component of the gearbox, the differential. The differential takes the power generated by the engine and gets it to the half shafts that powers the rear drive tires. Differentials can operate in 1 or 2 states, either locked or unlocked. A locked differential forces both tires to rotate at the same speed, while an unlocked differential allows the tires to rotate at different speeds, depending on which one has the higher load for better traction. These characteristics mean that a locked differential is handy for going in a straight line and accelerating, while unlocked differential is great for allowing the rear to go around the corners faster. Most production cars use what is commonly called a limited slip differential, best explained by Mona Lisa Vito in the movie My Cousin Vinny. The IR18 Indy cars, however, are equipped with what is known as an auto-locking differential and road course trim. This allows the differential to lock or unlock based on the power and torque going through the differential, and is adjusted by the ramp angles, which we will get into more in a future setup corner.
I love the setup corner. I learned so much. All right, we've talked about the track. We've gone over the points. We've learned about the differential. How about now we take a second, something a little more simple. Richie, tell us about the race details.
Yep, absolutely. And these series details come to us thanks to the SimPit. We are in Season 6, as we mentioned before. Round 12 of 24, halfway through the season, they do allow 3 drop events. We're running, of course, the Dallara IR18. The setups are adjusted fixed, but they are racing for a cash and prizes totaling $6,402.
All right, as the sun titanics towards the horizon here and the shadows grow long, let's take a look at the weather. Richie, what do you think this is going to do as far as the racing today?
Well, it looks like it's a little bit warm out there on the track, and there we go. We got 85-degree air temp, 93 track temp. Not too bad, but not too cold. We're looking at a little bit of wind direction out of the southwest at 9 miles an hour. Zero humidity, zero fog. Should be a great race for these guys.
All right, we've got all the business out of the way. Let's get down to the business of qualifying right now. And who do we see on top? Well, it's a guy we haven't mentioned much in the pre-race show, and that's Alex Saunders. He's been really, really impressive over in the Retro Series. He's come over here to race. He's up there as well.
Yeah, and Adam Blocker, like you mentioned, he's been strong on these road courses, so he's sitting in second. Dandy Dan Cairns had a rough go at some of these races, but he's sitting in third position. We still have about 4 minutes to go, so we'll see if these change. But we got some big movers up there in the front, and the times are really close as well. So it's just about a second covering positions 1 through 10.
You heard me talk about the Retro Series. Of course, the Lionheart League has 2 series here on GSRC. This one that we have here today, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, racing the IR18s, and then the Throwback Series that does the old Lotus 79s. A lot of these guys do crossover work on those. Those show up on Thursday night. So if you have your Thursday nights off, go ahead and give them a look. Love this little roadkill shot here. It gives you an idea of what oh no, we're here, we're looking on board. Now we got it. We were not on the roadkill. Well, if you were a roadkill, you'd be in trouble because you'd be in the cockpit. That's Dan Guerin. Guerin has been really fast, has a lot of trouble, as talked about earlier. If there's bad luck, it'll find him. Hopefully he's got that behind him. We're looking now at the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow.
Yeah, Dan's been fast this year, but he just has had some bad luck, so he doesn't have quite the finishes he'd like to show forth, but he has had some a little resurgence there late. And as you can see, Michael Goodman going through that hairpin at the top of the hill, basically at the end of the drag strip. The section we're watching right here through the S's is very tricky. This track is tough to drive in these cars. I practiced with these guys a couple of weeks ago just to get a feel for it, and it's quite an animal on this facility, so it's going to be a rough and tumble race, I think.
Limited fuel cell, so we are looking at 2 stops today. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but kind of interesting here, Richie, the pit lane on the outside of the track.
Yeah, it's definitely different than normal. Usually you're pitting on the inside, so in the real life they have to switch everything over, and it makes it a little awkward for the pit crew. That pit entry is a little tricky too, so you basically come flat out into the hairpin and you just go straight while everybody else has to slow down. So we could see maybe a little action there. Hopefully it doesn't catch anybody out.
There's Joe Branch. We talked about him for Adrenaline Motorsports, sitting 10th in the points, having a good season.
And I like to mention too, they are running basically the classic layout. So they don't do basically the NASCAR group. They skip turns basically 5 and 6 and go straight right over to turn 7. Whereas the IndyCar guys, they don't go through the S's. They come down, make a little bit of a hairpin. They got to slow it down there to make it a little safer. But this is the old school track. This is what I know. I've been on this track a few times in the past, never in an IndyCar, but man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the IndyCar, the old IndyCar track used to be a shorter run down to the hairpin, right? They didn't take it all the way down into 11. Yeah,
they had a different version. So they basically right past the drag racing starting tower, they made a little turn there, and they've changed it up a little bit. But then coming down the S's, they also made a little bit of a chicane instead of just going all the way through. It was a little too fast through, I believe that's turn 10 for them at the time.
Yeah, you know what? We've done a lot of races here, and surprisingly, we've seen a lot of trouble in turn 10. I don't know why, but from previous seasons that we've done, I don't find turn 10 to be that difficult, but maybe I'm just not pushing it to the end. Am I missing something there, Richie?
Well, it is flat out if you do it right, but you got to do it right. So if you turn in a little late, you're going to wash out and hit the outside wall. If you turn in a little too early, that curb on the inside of turn 10 is pretty high, and it's going to send you out. And there's not much room, so you can see it's pretty much all dirt on the outside or dried grass, and not much grip out there. So once you get out there, it's a little bit tough. And as we see him coming right through that turn 10 area.
Well, it's flat out. That explains why I'm not having any trouble with it, because I'm lifting there. So that always makes it a little easier, I guess.
This section we're watching up, we were just right there going up to turn 1 is also a very tricky part. And if you're bold, you can make a pass. You got to go around the outside of 1, but you'll have the inside for turn 2.
Qualifying is done, and it's just about time to go racing. And when it is time to go sim racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP Simulation pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. Okay, let's go to the grid. We'll take it a row at a time. We have time, Richie, here, as it's a long way around. On the front row, it's Alex Saunders. He's going to be inside of Adam Blocker.
Next row is going to be Dan Guerin and Michael Goodman.
The Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, in the 5th position, flanked by Justin Weaver.
And a rookie standings leader is Stephen Larkamp and Andrew Kinsella.
Coming off the win at the Milwaukee Mile, Brian Yasick in 9th, inside of James Kahula.
Next row is going to be Woody Mahan and Brian Beard.
The Baker's 7th spot, it's Joe Canigan Flanagan. He's going to be inside of Bart Workman.
Row 8 is going to be Tyler Groff and Jason Galvin.
Ron Hacker and Chris Stouffer fill up row spot 17 and 18.
Row 10 is going to be Big Joe and Bob Mikas.
It's Blackjack, Scott Bolster. In the double duck spot, Greg West.
Next up will be Samuel Ryman and Brian Greenlee.
Quarter century mark is filled by Joe Branch. He's inside of Pierre Neidendegla.
Row 14 is going to be Ed Tutwiler and Vincent Bluthenthal.
Populating row 15, it's Tony Showen and Mitchell Mole.
Coming up on row 16, I believe these guys didn't put in a time. We got Cody Wenzen in row 16. Some guy named Richard Hearn, he's not there today.
You know, I hate it when the commentators sign in as drivers. Let's go ahead and fill up the rest of these here. Matthew Mercer and the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray. They'll be back in row 17.
And we got Peter Edwins and Isaiah Dupree.
Robert Bluen and Jack Bogan in row 19.
And coming out the final row, I believe that's Dylan McKenna and Ian Adams.
Ian Adams racing with us here today. It looks like 30 drivers put in qualifying times. There were about 10 drivers that did not, and then one foolish one that signed in improperly. Okay. You can see the cars are rolling around the track. Let's go ahead and look at onboard cameras today. Who we got? Well, first we're going to have Ron Hacker. He's in the Viva Motorsports onboard camera machine. Let's go to car number 9. That's going to be Ed Tutwiler. Oh, well, if he were here, he'd be in the Clipping That Apex machine. Oh, he's going to start from pit lane. There we go. And then finally, car number 888, he races that number, so if he flips it over, it still looks the same. Michael Gray, he's in the GSRC onboard camera car. You know, the Lionheart series has a lot of sponsors, and we are certainly honored that they actually allowed GSRC to sponsor one of these races. We do really appreciate it. Thank you guys for letting us do the broadcast of this wonderful series, and it really is nice that we have a race named after us. Field now working their way into 7 and 7A.
Yeah, we got a great field out here. A lot of cars on this tight and twisty track, so it's going to be interesting to go and seeing them get the green flag on that front straightaway. It tightens up really quickly going into turn 2. So hopefully everybody can get cleanly. We can kind of get this going fairly quickly.
Richie, is 11 the best passing zone? Where are some other places people can sneak some passes in?
Yeah, 7's probably the most, or 11's probably the most obvious one, but 7's good. If you can get a good run through the carousel and back up the drag strip, sort of, you can get a good run, but it is tough. I mean, these guys, you got to just kind of stuff it in there if that guy's not going to give you space. So we might see a little contact as we go through this event.
Hopefully we'll get the drivers all the way around, get all the cars around for that first lap. This race is going to conclude the first half of season number 6, and if the second half is as exciting as the first half has been, I don't know if my cardiologist is going to let me call the rest of this season. They work their way into 11. Look at that beautiful Dougie Beard camera angle there. You get a shot of what turn 11 is really like. Now they come out of there, and all the attention will be put on Alex Saunders. Gather up the chicken steak, cover me on the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. And Alex Saunders leads the stampede down into the first corner. Adam Blocker, Dan Guerin, Michael Goodman, and Dustin Wardlow.
Looks like everybody's oh, we got a little bit of a spin right there at the top of the hill. I don't know who that was farther back in the field. I was just about to say they're getting through clean, but got a couple guys off the track there.
I think it was Ron Hacker might have had a little bit of an issue. It looks like another car that was off was Brian Yazik. Oh, no. He's notorious for strange pit strategies. Well, he's put himself up to try something original now, as he's going to be at the back of the pack. All this going on behind Alex Saunders.
Yeah, as they come up into what I was talking about, turn 7, up at the end of the drag strip, making that U-turn.
Dylan McKenna spins his car around and happens to back it into Brian Greenlee, whose car had already spun. We'll come back and look at that one a little later. His first lap is full of incidents.
And they're coming around already. Ooh, we got second place. Adam Blockers off the track at that turn 10. He is able to keep going, but looks like he's going to lose a spot to Dan Guerin.
Blocker in the blue car now falls back to third. Dan Guerin in that black and green machine up into second.
And that is key. Oh, here we go. Adam's going to try that spot. It's real tricky. He's going to stick his nose in there and was able to make that pass at the top of the hill.
And now we're looking at, oh my goodness, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. He had trouble as well. We'll look at this one, and he had trouble in turn 1. He has now fallen back into 8th position. Guerin falls back into 3rd with Blocker getting around him.
Meanwhile, all this running passing back and forth is let Alex Saunders get about a 2.5 lead on Adam Blocker, so he's got a little bit of a clear track to work with at the moment.
Well, we talked about what's going on in front. Let's talk about some of the cars a little farther back. Michael Goodman racing in, my goodness, there's Blocker making another. Guerin and Blocker continue to go at it.
We're watching Michael Goodman. Oh, there goes Justin Weaver's right behind him. Goes a little off the track. That's going to leave a door open for Adam Kinsella down into the hairpin. Almost clips that inside tire barrier and is able to make that pass, moving up to 5th spot.
Point leader picks up that position. Weaver in 6th. Right behind Weaver, you can see in that blue car, that's our top rookie, Stephen Larkamp. He's back in 7th. The Candyman, we saw documented his issues. Dustin Wardlow in 8th, rounding out your top 10. James Krahula and Woody Mahan.
And I'm watching Justin Weaver. He's got Stephen Larkamp all over the back of him as they come over to the carousel here. Very tricky corner. It's very fast on the entry in blind. But this leads on to that uphill straightaway, which is very important in order to keep that person behind you. So it looks like he's got a little space, and he's going to be able to hold on to that 6th spot.
Wardlow, let's look at this one.
Looks like he lost it coming out of that carousel. The car gets upset, and you're hard on the gas there, so it's really easy to lose the rear end. As I found out, he lost it on the entry there. So, yeah, and then just wasn't able to recover. Very tricky part of the track.
Right in front of James Krahula, and then he did a good job of keeping out of traffic. But by the time he gets the car sorted out and running, he's going to be racing in what looks to be 24th position.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to make up those spots there, Soup. He's going to have to work on a little bit of a fuel strategy. I know our pit stops are tight to making this 2-stop race, so we'll see what kind of strategies some of the leaders run.
Well, if the drivers will settle down, we'll bring up our race analysis right now. We'll look at this quick because the action is so hot. How far are we going today? Well, we're going, I believe, 50 laps. Now, we think the max fuel is 17. That's a very important number. If they can get to lap 17, they can do it on 2 stops. We're not so sure. And then you have the incidents. 12 incidents, you lose 3.17, and you are DQ'd.
Now, we got fast and furious action here going with Michael Goodman, Kinsella, Weaver, and Larkamp all bunched together looking for that 4th spot. So Michael Goodman has got his hands full as we see him on screen right now, trying to hold these guys back.
Yes, that's you. Our director and Richie have found the action spot. ride on board with our rookie, Arkamp, Pennsylvania driver.
We do have a group of cars, too, working for position 10 with Jason Galvin, just ahead of Bart Workman. And then they got Bob Mikas looking for that spot. So we've got a whole train of cars coming into that hairpin, all kind of closing up on each other. And here we are, getting a good drive off that corner is Jason Galvin. And he's got about a second, 1.3 seconds to look forward to catching up to Brian Beard, which is right in front of him.
We don't need to go there, but Ron Hacker just spun the car. Okay, we'll take a look at Ron Hacker here. He looped it around. We'll get the replay on this one. This is one of our onboard cameras. Oh, he was racing back in about 30th. The Viva Motorsports car.
There you go, just on the gas as the car gets unsettled. Somewhere along where we missed a pass, too, for Adam Kinsella has passed Michael Goodman, getting to that 4th position, and he's kind of pulling away from that group a little bit.
Richie, that's an important pass because Kinsella is coming. He qualified in 8th. He's already chopped that in half, now racing in 4th. Let's give you an interval. Yeah. Back to Guerin, it's 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, he's running about a couple tenths faster than Guerin on that last lap. So, you know, he's got that green car in his sights, trying to chase him down as they come up into turn 2. Guerin's or Kinsella is steadily pulled away a little bit from Goodman, so he doesn't have any pressure from behind, but he definitely wants to get up into that podium spot as soon as he can.
Brian Yazik in the blue machine was trying to make a pass on the inside of Kinsella. You can see the car. Oh, it was Samuel Ryman. The car gets loose and he's losing it.
Yeah, Brian's having a tough go here early on in this race. Coming around turn 10 here, coming into the hairpin, nowhere to make a move, and just locks up and pounds that inside tire bear. So hopefully he doesn't have too much damage on his car at the moment. But even if he wanted to go in the pits, he's missed that pit entry. He's got to go all the way around. And there we go, another replay for you.
That one's going to leave a mark. Yeah, not having the day he wanted, not able to follow up his win with success here today. Racing at the back of the pack.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been there. You know, you make a mistake, you're mad at yourself. Make another mistake, you get even madder. So you just kind of have to settle down and just put the laps in, and hopefully you can gain some spots from just some other people dropping out.
You talked about being there, but in your real-world IndyCar career, they didn't come to Sonoma, did they?
No, I was done racing by the time they did, and honestly, I'm kind of glad. I think that I watched these guys race there, and it looks like a manhandle of a beast. So it would have been a tough one. This has got to be probably one of the most physically challenging tracks that they run on all year long.
Looking at Andrew Havakech Kinsella. Was a rookie last season, very impressive. Making his way up. Now we're going to go down to P20. We're going to take a look at this battle. This is Michael Gray. The yellow car that you see there is Vincent Blumenthal. Samuel Ryman back in this mix. Dustin Wardlow. Now Wardlow's trying to climb up after he had his incident. Wardlow's going to be in a hurry. Probably the fastest car up the bunch.
You can see right behind him, that mess right behind him. They got just a beehive going on here coming up into the carousel. So these guys are working hard, even though they're running in the 21st position and beyond. These guys are giving everything they have out there.
If the guys up front will cooperate, we can stay on this battle for a little bit because it's good racing, even though it's not up front. And look at that. There it goes. That's Wardlow trying to find his way around, and he does it. He takes it around the outside, gets around Samuel Ryman.
Yeah, he goes around the outside and kind of bullies his way into those S's right in front of him. That's kind of what you have to do here. There's no real clean places to just make an honest, clean pass. You just kind of have to force your way through.
Next up for him will be Vincent Blumenthal. Blumenthal, a veteran. So some great racing going on at the back of the pack.
Yeah, up front, everybody's kind of separated themselves out a little bit. Alex Saunders got about a 2.7 second lead on Adam Blocker, who in turn has about a 1.7 lead over Dan Guerin, and so forth. So you might be seeing a little bit of tire wear coming into play as we're working lap 8. These cars are working hard out there. The track temp's a little high. The aero push comes into play too, so as soon as you lose that mechanical balance, you can't quite hang right on the gearbox of that guy in front of you.
You talked about working hard. I got a guy who's been working hard, has made his way up into the top 10, and we're talking about Bob Mikus in the Von Hansen's Meat Machine. Don't think he's actually racing. No, he does race that one here in this IndyCar series. Started in 20th position. Look what he's done.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's made a lot of positions up, so maybe we didn't see it on the start, but he must have passed a lot of people, but he's doing a great job, so it's a nice job with Bob Mikus right now.
He's got Joe Flanagan behind him. Joe up a couple spots in 11th. Tyler Graff back there in 12th. Some good racing going on to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, meanwhile, everybody, like I said, everybody separated themselves out, working lap 9 to 50. So about a 17-lap run on fuel. And, you know, some of these guys, it's going to be a stretch to do that. So some of these guys might be taking it a little bit easy, trying to make that first pit stop all the way to lap 17. You definitely don't want to run out.
We do have some drivers that are in the pits or making pit stops. I'm not sure if they are just in there for repairs. Peter Edwin's in there. We look at P5. We've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 drivers, I think, that are not racing the start of the event. On board now with Justin Weaver. Flanagan has had an issue. Right behind Bob Mikus. This is corner 11. Does a good job of not hitting anybody, and including the hay bales that are out there as well.
Yeah, just watching on board, up above here, coming through those S's. There's that infamous turn 10. And just loses it under braking. Just came in a little hot. Had to check up. And, you know, fortunately, no one else got collected.
That was Tyler Groff, who just stuck by on the inside. Woo! Watch this one.
Yeah, here we are on board. Oh, whoa. Oh, yeah. That was close. I'm sure Tyler was like saying, don't go, don't go, don't go.
And that car was rolling to the inside there, and he was able to sneak by. Oh, Dan Guerin, again, out of 11, has had trouble. Boy, this is getting the power down.
Yeah, and I think we're just seeing the evidence of just some of the tires getting a little worn out. Of course, there's no traction control working on this, so you want to get on the gas as hard as you can. That is first gear through there, and he just kind of loses it. Fortunately, there's a lot of room on the inside there, nothing to hit, and he continues on here. Dan's still sitting in 4th, so didn't lose too much spot, but now he's got Michael Goodman right behind him, but that has moved Andrew Kinsella up to that podium position at the moment. He's charging hard right now.
We talked a little bit about pitting. Your pit window is going to be very narrow. The number to really look for is lap 33. I would say lap 17, but even if guys pit on 16, they can maybe save a little bit next time and get to lap 33. So 16 or 17 is what we see that first pit stop. I expect everyone to come in on lap 33. It's going to be very, very tight to two-stop this.
Yeah, we're already seeing the leaders go around a lap car there in the hairpin. I don't know who that was at the moment, but we're already starting to catch up to the back of the field, so the lap traffic might play a part in this. Oh, Andrew Kinsella has almost lost it. I just happened to watch. Oh, and he gets hit. He gets hit from behind at the top of the hill. And that's done a lot of damage to his car here. That's unfortunate for Andrew.
The car got loose, and I believe it's Mr. Bad Luck himself, Dan Guerin. Man, if you ride on board with Dan, this Kinsella's car goes every way in front of Guerin. There's absolutely no way that Guerin could figure out where that car was going to go.
No, it was Andrew's just trying to save the car all the way. And, you know, and that is blind, so you crest the hill, you can't see what's over on the other side for a brief moment. So he was just there, and unfortunately Andrew's missing his rear wing.
And Guerin has front wing damage on that one, so Guerin now back to 5th.
So this is going to, you know, take a toll on the points there for both these guys. So this might count as one of their drop weeks.
Yeah. And Kinsella, unfortunately, is going to have to race around. We talked about the pit window. It's another at least 4 laps before Kinsella could come in. Boy, the car is his poor car.
Yeah, I'm impressed that he can keep going at the pace he's going. And he has no rear cover and no rear wing. So it can't be easy to drive. But, yeah, he's got to try to make that pit window, and he's going to try to almost lose it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's probably just got to maybe come in and take the penalty of pitting early.
That's James Grahula right behind him. Now, James, let me give you a word of advice. I don't know a lot about racecraft. Try to pass him on the inside because that car is ready to spin out.
It is, too, amazing, though. Even though Andrew had that problem, he's still in 7th spot. So he's probably looking at that and just trying to hang on. And, of course, James is right behind him looking at the same thing.
There, and Kinsella has trouble. Grahula is by. That's a lapped car of, well, no, that's Jason Galvin now in the mix. Tony Schowen has got out of the way, so Galvin coming up behind.
Yeah, Andrew's got a handful there.
Ian Adams, let's go to this one. Ian Adams just got into it with Vincent Blumenthal, a couple drivers farther back in the pack, but when 2 cars get together, we want to show it to you.
Once again, coming off of turn 11 there, getting on the gas and just kind of losing that rear end. Meanwhile, all this action up front has moved Michael Goodman up to 3rd, Justin Weaver up to 4th. Dan's struggling. He's missing his right front wing there. Oh, yeah, that's a rough one we're seeing right there at the top of the hill.
You know what he got there? That was a case of some haptic immersion. And you know, if you're looking for that special little connection between car and driver, you want to check out Butt Kicker. These guys have a product that'll give you that special something that'll give your racing a little something extra when you're doing it. What I want you to do is go to thebuttkicker.com and you can check out all their products. And remember, use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order.
Yeah, here we are, P3, working hard. These guys are all backed up, coming up to the hairpin here.
Some pitters going on. That's Goodman, Weaver, Ed Tutwiler now. He's in 27th. He's not in the mix. But Stephen Larkamp, who's worked his way up to 5th. With that rookie. We documented it. We talked about it in the pre-race show, how good Larkamp is on the road courses. A 2nd, a 4th, and a 7th this season.
Yeah, that's been his strong point. That's what's got him into that Rookie of the Year leaderboard. And he's doing a good job. Just kind of staying out of trouble at the moment. And just kind of letting it come to him. Started 7th, running 5th. So didn't really make those passes on track. And those guys kind of got out of his way. So that's a good job for him.
Don't need to go there, but I can just report that Andrew Kinsella is still out on the track. He's fallen back to 9th position. He's got 6.5 seconds before he gets to Bob Mikas. Or before Bob Mikas gets to him.
Yeah, he's got some heavy damage there. Dan Guerin's also hanging in there. He's missing the right front wing, and he's hanging in there in that 6th spot. Probably not affecting him as much as it is for Adam, so I'm sure he's waiting for that pit window to open as well around lap 16, which are on lap 15 right now, so we're going to start seeing some green flag pit stops pretty soon.
We never did get back to all the first lap carnage that was going on. That's because the carnage kept going even into laps 2 and 3. But I can tell you right now that those drivers who decided to start from the pit lane, they might have been using their crystal ball because that really worked out for them.
So Alex Saunders starting lap 16. So this is where we're going to see who saved enough fuel to get to lap 17, which is going to be
one of those drivers that did start from the pits. How about a little love to the driver currently in 20th position, Isaiah Dupree, car number 93. Racing all by himself out there, but that's okay. That's kind of what he wanted. And as I say that, he's going to come into the pits on lap 15. Isaiah, too early.
Oh, the leader just had a problem with the lap car. I just watched it going through the S's. He's missing his right front wing. We can try to...
Yep, got into that one. Oh, it was Brian Not Easy being Greenlee. This is not just a little contact. This is some big contact. Watch Brian get loose right in front.
And as we watch this replay, he is in the pits, the leader. So we're coming up on the S. This is a really tough place. He's pushing pretty hard, and unfortunately, there's just nowhere to make that move. So it's just kind of bad luck, and probably could have been a little bit more patient, I think. But he's in the pits.
But it is lap 16. My gosh, you could not have that happen at a better time. So he's right in his pit window.
Got Adam Blocker followed him right into the pits, fixed that front wing, and Adam Blocker's right behind him. But he's lost a lot of space. He was 5 seconds ahead of Adam before that accident. Now Adam's only a second and a half behind him. So we got a battle for the lead coming up.
All things said, though, if you're going to have an incident, that would be the time to have it on the lap where your pit stops were due and right by pit entrance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're seeing the majority of the field come in.
They're all coming out. Saunders actually cycles back out in the lead. Michael Goodman has made his stop. He comes out in third, just ahead of Justin Weaver. Look at all the action on pit lane.
Yep, just watching Adam Kinsella come out of the pits at the moment. He did get his rear wing fixed, but he had to sit there for a long time, so he's lost a lot of spots. Was running third before that accident, and now he's all the way back into 15th spot.
I have a look at Dan Guerin's car in 6th place as we continue to look at that one. That car's looking pretty.
So it's looking like everybody's on the same strategy at the moment. Everybody was able to make it, at least in the top 10 spots here.
Saunders, Blocker, Goodman, Weaver, and Larkamp, your top 5. Looking at this battle here with Weaver. Trying to run down Michael Goodman. This is a battle for the final podium spot.
And these guys have been together for quite a while, so this battle's been going on. I'm sure Justin Weaver really wants to get that spot. And now they're on fresh tires, so you can see that he can run fairly close to him, not getting that aero wash too much. And coming up to a prime passing spot, he's not quite close enough, I think. So, kind of dives in there, but not trying to take a move yet.
It's nice when the drivers behave and we can show you a little bit of racing on the track instead of jumping all around. This is a good battle between Goodman and Weaver. Weaver doing really well. Qualified in 6th, up a couple spots.
Yeah, and right in front of them, too. Adam Blocker hasn't let Saunders get too far in front of him, so still kind of just under a second there. Adam's been fast here in practice, obviously qualified 2nd. So he's got the car that can challenge Saunders. And Saunders goes off the track right there. So he might be feeling a little bit of the heat from seeing that blue and black car in his mirrors.
Yeah, my goodness, he is there now.
And he's going to take a look here going into turn 7. And he's there. Ooh, Saunders left the door open just enough, but I think Adam Blocker made the wise choice of not trying to risk it too early on lap 19 of 50.
And keep in mind, that was not incidental contact that Alex Saunders had. That car still could not be back to 100%.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, it looks fine, but he could have some, suspension damage that's affecting his steering. There's no way to tell from looking on the outside.
Just the fact that Blocker is doing so well and Saunders was running away with this thing early on leads me to believe that Saunders might be having a few issues going on.
Well, I think Adam was fast, but remember he had that off early on, and then he had to gain that position back, so he lost that track position. So he is right behind him, so he's putting the heat on Saunders. And and Blocker's been strong on the road courses this year. This is where he's gotten most of his points.
We've had 3 road courses, and he's won 2 of them. Absolutely. Boy, he is all over them.
Ooh.
There's the move.
Saunders gone wide. Now he's got the inside, and Adam's going to outbrake him. But Saunders got the inside, so this is a really good battle for the lead. Nice, clean racing, side by side through the S's. This doesn't usually work. but Adam's able to pull that move off and get in front of Alex.
Now we'll see if that blue car can pull away. I expect it to. Adam Blocker, a new leader. Alex Saunders in second.
Yeah, and like you said, Alex might be struggling something with because he keeps dropping wheels at the exit of these corners. So he's either trying too hard or he's got some issue with his car at the moment.
There are several good battles on the track. Let's leave that one as Blocker starts to pull away. We're going to go past the one for third and fourth.
And we go back.
Oh, no.
Justin Weaver just spun coming out of the hairpin. Yeah, just got on the gas a little too hard, and he's left Goodman to be on his own out there, which has moved Stephen Larkamp up.
Richie, I've seen that problem before.
Yeah, like I say, it's first gear corner, so I mean, you want to get on the gas so hard because it leads up that front straightaway, and he just kind of gets away from you. So fortunately, doesn't hit anything. He's able to continue, but he did lose that spot, and that's moved Stephen Larkamp, our rookie leader here, up into fourth position.
What that does is create a really interesting battle because before that spin, I was going to document that Dan Guerin, remember, he had that damage that he needed repaired. He was actually closing in on Larkamp. And now, also in the mix is now Justin Weaver. So that's going to be exciting pretty soon as they work around Big Joe Hassard up there in car number 11.
Yeah, Dan's he was running in third early on, just trying to make up for that accident that he had with Andrew Kinsella.
And it's Kinsella, and I'm beginning to report that
Saunders is in, and he's exiting the car.
Saunders is in.
He's exited the car, so he definitely must have had something wrong. And we just saw some contact. Dan Guerin and Justin Weaver just got into each other in the hairpin, and Dan Guerin's got some serious issues to deal with.
Yep, now this is... Guerin goes in. You know what? It all started with Larkamp got loose in front of them all. This is interesting. Larkamp gets away. He had his hand in the cookie jar and didn't get. Yep. He spins. He
spins and then just checks everybody up. And here comes Dan. Yep. Once again, has nowhere to go. You know, it's not. Both those accidents weren't his fault.
Now Larkamp just let Weaver go by. That's interesting.
Oh, and watching Justin Weaver, he's got some issues as well. So we're seeing some action up front. You know, these guys are kind of making some unforced errors, which is making this race quite exciting for us.
So let's get that sorted out. Larkamp is now in third. Here's what's happened since all that's been going on. We lost Alex Saunders. He left. So Larkamp gets a spot. Then Larkamp got loose. Justin Weaver got into him, and Dan Guerin got into him. Weaver is really struggling out there.
And both Dan Guerin and Alex Saunders have taken it back to the garage. And this has been great for Stephen Larkamp and Michael Goodman. These guys have just moved up by attrition there. So nice job to both those guys. So, and they're separated out by quite a bit of time. So we can just kind of, those guys just need to just focus and just run clean laps at the moment, trying to get to lap 33.
And we'll go ahead and look at this battle here for 13th. This is a good one. Haven't heard much from these guys. This is Greg West and Woody Mayhem. Oh, Woody! Woo!
Yeah, that was close. That was very close in the hairpin once again, but fortunately, cooler heads prevail and they're able to continue on. I'd like to bring up Bob Mikas, 20th to 7th at the moment, so nice job to him.
A very quiet 7th, just keeping that Von Hansen's meat machine safe and clean.
He also has the coolest paint job on a helmet ever.
He's a happy guy.
Yeah, he's done good. I mean, sometimes you just got to run your race, stay out of trouble, and let everybody else fall around you. So great job to him so far.
He races just behind Jason Galvin in 6th, and James Krahula cracks the top 5.
Yeah, and both those guys have moved up quite a bit. I mean, Jason Galvin's moved up 10 spots. James Krahula's moved up 5 spots. So, you know, really, those guys up front struggling. These guys just doing their thing and reaping the rewards at the moment.
Let's go check back in on that battle for 13th. Last time we saw they were getting together. Here's the same corner again. Oh, no, I could see it coming. My goodness. If you still have those things called encyclopedias in your house, look up in Dive Bomb and you'll see a picture of Woody Mayhem. Here we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, he got away with it last time. This time he decided just to kind of finish it off and just got it a little hot. And, unfortunately there for Greg West got the brunt of it.
And we come back live. Exciting action at the front and in the back. All this going behind Adam Blocker, who's got a comfortable 12-second lead on Michael Goodman. Podium spots have settled down as there's no interval closer than 6 seconds. Let's look at P10. And that was over quick. This is Kinsella working his way back up, got around Bart Workman.
Yeah, we know Andrew's got a fast car and just fortunately had a little bit of an error which caused him to get hit by Dan Guerin. So he got his car fixed, was able to hang in there until that pit stop window.
Well,
came out in 15th, so he's working up to 10th.
This is good here. We got 8th is Tyler Graff. Then about half a second back is Brian Beard. We just saw Kinsella get around Bart Workman into 9th.
Well, we just saw Justin Weaver in the pits a little early for that for that second stop, but he must have had some damage, so I don't think he's going to be able to make it on fuel, but he did get tires, probably got his car fixed, and getting back out there.
This is a tough situation for Ron Hacker. He's the leader of this pack. He's one lap down. He'll want to get out of the way. Boy, as a back marker, letting one car go by, that's easy enough, but when you have a whole train of them, that's a good spot to get it done. There you go. Oh, my goodness. And that's going to give Kinsella a chance, and he takes advantage of it. Move Abaketch up into 9th spot now. Mahan is gone. Mahan took a tow. We'll see if we can find out what happened to Woody. Oh, my goodness. Is this out of the... Ouch.
Yeah, he took quite a big hit there. He did have some damage previously from his earlier accident, but this is going to just basically take him out of it. And tough spot to go off the track here because there's a lot of things to hit.
Let's go ahead and check in our leader real quick. This is Adam Blocker. Let's watch him work some lap traffic. He just got around Justin Weaver. And while that's going on, I'm hearing some serious contact. Oh, my goodness. This is a big one from Greg West, Joe Branch, Isaiah Dupree. Now that's Blumenthal on the outside. The lead car is Dupree. Branch gets into him. No, I'm sorry, that's Dupree. West is the lead car.
And he just got helped around, and then they just log jammed up that corner. Meanwhile, there goes our leader. He had to go through that mess as well, so we got lucky. Adam Blocker got lucky that he didn't get caught up in that accident.
You are never safe when you're in the lead. We're going to have Adam Blocker work around some lap cars. I didn't think it would go like that.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, good move to the left. And, unfortunately, this track just moves back and forth constantly, so if there is an accident, there's not always, A, you probably don't see it, and B, there's just nowhere to go. So Adam got a little bit lucky there.
So Blocker just did get around Samuel Ryman. I'm showing Ryman as the first car one lap down. And he's in 14th. I did not think attrition was going to be that big of a factor here at Sonoma.
No, either did I. But they've had a couple of weeks off. I mean, you can practice all you want, but it doesn't replace the racing. So you might be seeing a little bit of mistakes, just being a little bit rusty.
Saw Joe Branch making his stop. We're working lap number 25. We are still about 7 or 8 laps away from that very crucial second pit stop, which needs to come on lap 33. If it comes on lap 32, I think these guys are going to have an issue.
Yeah. Oh, Adam Kinsella almost lost it going into the hairpin. I was watching him. He's slowly catching up to Bob Mikas, but he almost lost it. He got a little heavy on the brake and almost nosed it into that tire barrier.
Remember, that's that 4-car battle we were looking at.
You know, Adam's running about a second faster than Bob Micah, so he should easily catch him, but he's got to be still patient to make these passes.
Even if Bob does get past, he's found his way up to 6th position.
Yeah, and that smile on his helmet looks pretty good. Moving up 14 spots here.
Right off the back of, you can see it right there, Von Hansen's Meat. Not one of our sponsors today, but there's how many locations? 24. If you're a vegetarian, don't think you're out of it, man. Order some of their flavored pretzels. Unbeatable.
And if you want to stay on this battle, stay on this battle, because I think Adam's going to be making another move here. He's all over the back of Bob, so we should be seeing a pass for that 6th spot coming up pretty quickly.
Kinsella says, boy, I mean, let me in there, and Micah says, no problem. I've already got all the spots I need. You go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was a case of Bob going, well, he's coming no matter what. I might as well just do my thing and let him go by.
So Kinsella continues to try to make up for his mistake. All this going on behind Adam Blocker. Blocker working lap number 29. He'll be starting lap number 30. There he comes across the start-finish line right there.
Yeah, he's got a healthy 10-second gap over to Michael Goodwin at the moment.
And Goodman with about the same interval back to Stefan Larkamp. There's that rookie again having another good road course finish, man. Let's go ahead and take a look. Stefan is our profile driver. And while you look at him racing Sonoma live, we can give you this profile of what he looked like on a recorded lap as well. That's what he looks like in slow motion. Career starts only 10. Pole positions not yet. Doesn't have a win yet, but that could be coming soon. Top 5s, he's got a couple of those. You can see what he's done. 10 races, 10 top 10s.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I mean, he's running 3rd, leading the Rookie of the Year standings. He is strong on the road courses, so he's showing that once again. If my stats are correct, we've only got 13 cars on the lead lap, it looks like.
Pierre Nightingale, the last one. 1 minute and 8 seconds last time around behind the leader. And with lap times of a minute 12, he's going to be seeing Adam Blocker pretty soon. In fact, the next car on the track is indeed Adam Blocker. Pierre having a good run, didn't put in a qualifying time, so I'm not going to give him credit for being a hard charger.
So we are working lap 31, getting close to that 33 number like you mentioned earlier, so we'll see if these guys can make it. I think they can, but it's going to be close, as people have been saying.
Yeah, well, I like it. A lot of the drivers went to 17. If you can go to 17, you should be good to go. I was worried if we saw 16, they'd have to save it. Let's go ahead and look at Ed King Tutwiler here. There we go. Boy, that's a pretty looking car. Isn't that clipping that Apex? One of our sponsors. And a veteran of this series. Right now racing in 21st, 1 lap down. Whoa, and picking up a little bit of dust.
Yeah, Ed started from the pit lane, so he's made up a few spots, but sometimes starting from pit lane, that's a tough go. Oh, I'm watching Adam Blocker going through some of this lap traffic. It's pretty tough go at the moment.
Pierre Nightingale just kind of went off track to let him go around.
As a leader with that type of gap, you see that happening in front of you, you're like, no, 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 no. And I heard him get off the gas and just kind of let him go. So, once again, Adam's got luck of the Irish on his side today, missing a couple accidents.
There are a lot of drivers out there just trying to put in miles. Tony Schowen, one of them, 3 laps down, but realized that attrition is so bad. The longer he can stay out on track, the more spots he can vulture. All right, we are on lap 32. Our leader going through the hairpin right now. I think he's going to go around one more time before pit stops.
Yeah, he's forced to now. He's missed that pit entry, so he must have plenty of fuel to make this lap if he didn't pit at that point.
We look on this one. We haven't talked much about battles inside the top 5. There's one we can kind of keep an eye on. James Krahula has about 2 seconds on Jason Galvin. You can see them both right there. And I think Galvin's coming. Well, he's not coming right now because he's going to come in and take his pit stop. So that's something to watch. See what Galvin can do in pit lane. Maybe pass him the easy way.
Yeah, maybe his tires are going off, not liking it too much, so he's in that pit window. Just take the tires, try to get some clean laps, and try to pass him on in the pit lane.
Not so sure pitting on 32. Now, I guess he'll be 33 once he crosses the start-finish line. This is going to be close for Jason. We'll have to keep an eye on this. All you little soldiers in Soup's clipboard army, mark that down at home that Jason Galvin would get near the end. Does he have enough to get there?
And our leader is in the pits, as well as Michael Goodman and Steven Larkamp. So all the leaders are coming in at this moment.
Yep, these guys all went one lap farther than Galvin did. Interesting, James Krahula, he's going to stay out. In fact, I think Krahula's going to maybe inherit the lead here. I'm looking at this right. Nope. Yeah, I guess he... Oh, Blocker is already in and out. Krahula would have. Sorry, James.
Yeah, he had quite a lead on these guys. So, you know, Adam's able to come in the lead and leave in the lead. But it does put James Krahula in second place, which is going to bog up Michael Goodman here. And that might allow Steven Larkamp to close up a little bit of this gap that he had to Michael Goodman. We'll have to watch this a little bit because obviously James is struggling on those tires and Michael Goodman is on new tires, so he's not going to be able to run the fast opening lap that he'd like to.
That little battle that we've been watching, Kinsella, Micah's, Graff, and Beard, they all come in for their stops. I imagine they'll come out in the order that I just mentioned. Bart Workman in 12th is the last car on the lead lap. And Bart, have you made your second stop? You have? There, that's our leader. Well, no, that's our second place driver. I apologize.
So James Krahula is in the pits at the moment, so he does take his stop here.
So when everything sorts out, we'll run through the field if these drivers behave. We'll wait for everybody to make that stop. See where James finds his spot. There's Big Joe Hazard. Big Joe a lap down. Hard not to be one lap down.
Yeah, we've had a lot of action up front, but the pace has been high as well, so we're lapped all the way up to 13th there.
And actually, let's say 12th. There is Joe Kennigan Flanagan just goes a lap down. That makes Scott Bolster the last car on the lead lap, racing, my goodness, in 10. I had to double check my numbers to make sure that is correct, but I guess Beard would be as well. We'll double check that for you here. Beard in 11th. Yeah, he's ahead. Next, right behind him is the lead car of Adam Blocker. So 11 cars on the lead lap. Let's go ahead and take this opportunity. I'll take the top 5. Adam, you can have the next, or Richie, you can have the next 6. And it is Adam Blocker, our leader, comfortably in the lead, 13 seconds, qualified in second. Once Alex Saunders got out of the mix, it's been all Adam Blocker in second place. Michael Goodman, the New York driver, qualified in 4th, up 2 spots. He's got about 7.5, almost 8 seconds back to the Pennsylvania rookie, Steven Larkamp. the marketing student out of Pennsylvania, in third, 23 seconds ahead of James Krahula. Now remember, we talked about Krahula. Maybe Jason Galvin trying to run him down. Well, that's not happening. Jason has fallen back. It was down to 2 seconds. Now it's 3.5. And we're not sure that Jason can actually get there without a splash and go. Richie, who's in sixth?
Yeah, in sixth spot, we got Andrew Kinsella. Started eighth. Obviously, worked his way up to, I think, third, and then had some incidents. Had to come in for some repairs. But he's made his way back up to sixth. Right behind him is Justin Weaver, who's had some incidents himself. Right behind him is Bob Mikas, is our hard charger, from 20th starting position all the way up to 8th. Running behind him is Bart Workman, running in 9th, started 14th. Another hard charger is Scott Bolster.
Because there goes Bolster.
Scott Bolster. I was going to say another hard charger, so he's 21st up to 9th. Let's move Bart Workman down to 10th there.
And then the last car, not that far behind him, and he's got to hustle. This is Brian Beard. Right behind Brian Beard, that gets us all the way back to that Dodger Blue machine of Adam Blocker. It's been a good race for these guys after they settle down a bit.
Yeah, it's been a great race. A little crazy, some unforced errors, which has taken some of the big hitters out of the game, which we don't normally see, but it's been a good event, and now they're all separated out just by a little bit. Still got a healthy 13 laps to go, so it's not over yet.
And if you want to stay up to date on the latest happenings in this new esport of sim racing, here's where you want to go. Sim Sport News, that's your ticket. Their ever-expanding stable of informed writers covers a vast array of championships. To read their latest article, visit simsportnews.com.
There we go. There's Adam Blocker going through your picture. He's heavy in traffic right now, but he's got a really big gap to Michael Goodman, so he does not have to push the issue at all. Just take your time and collect this win that he deserves here.
Especially when you're coming up on two guys that are fighting for positions. It's going to be Bolster and Workman, this battle for 9th.
Michael Goodman about 14 seconds behind Adam Blocker. And Steven Larkamp about 4 seconds back.
Boy, you can see Workman have that same issue coming out of 11. At least I thought it was, unless he was just pulling over to let the leader go by. It has the same effect. Workman now goes a lap down, but he loses touch with Scott Bolster.
Yeah, now he's got Steven Larkamp behind him, so Steven's trying pretty hard to catch up to Michael Goodman, and he's going to catch up to that lap traffic in a kind of a not a very good spot here. So he gets out of the way and lets him by. So that's good racing.
There you go, Michael Goodman. Keep an eye on that gap between Goodman and Larkamp. It's down a little bit. Some of that might have been from pit stops. Well, if it goes down a little bit more, I'm looking at it. With 12 laps to go, don't know if there's enough time for Larkamp to get there unless Goodman has an issue.
Yeah, unless any of these guys have any issues, they're all kind of separated out.
You know, the accident position all race long has been P13. Let's see who's in that battle now. This is Daigle. And he's got Samuel Ryman right behind him.
Yeah, Samuel Ryman's doing a good job. Started 23rd up to 14th. And he's got basically Pierre Daigle and Joe Flanagan in his sight. So it's basically the best battle on the track right now.
The problem is he has the second place driver, Michael Goodman, coming up on him. Careful.
Daigle makes a little bit of a mistake. And now Samuel's right on his gearbox. But yeah, Dustin Wardlow's closing in on that gap as well.
Oh, Sam pulls over and lets Goodman go by. That's some good sportsmanship from the GSRC commentator.
good sportsmanship, but you just took yourself out of the battle. So you got to hope that Pierre does the same thing and kind of resumes that battle. And he does. So we're back on fighting for that 13th spot.
Just like playing ball in the street. When a car comes by, everyone yells, "Car!" Oh, why is Justin Weaver having to pit? This is not right. Pitting from 7th position, he's going to fall down the order. Did he run into trouble? I don't see any.
Now he's fell all the way down to 11th spot so far. I don't know. He's just taking a spot, taking tires. And was he the one that came in early for? He's the one that had to come in early. He had some damage, and I remember saying he's not going to make it, so he had to make that extra stop.
The other driver we're worried about is Jason Galvin. And look at what we're looking at on screen here.
Man, he came out right in front of those guys. So right in front of that battle with Samuel Ryman and Pierre Daigle. So now we got basically 3 or 4 cars battling for that 12th spot.
The car ahead, that's Tony Schowen. He's several laps down, though. These guys are all a lap down. Daigle, Ryman, Weaver. Oh, and Joe Flanagan, he just put the car off in the dirt. This almost seems like either a hardware or real world issues here, as he just put the car off. And
everything's looking good at that point right there. Yeah, that looks like he purposely parked it, and like I said, either had a issue with his computer or like real world issues, and he had to get out of the car. This battle with Pierre and Samuel's still hot and heavy as they come up into the hairpin. So these guys are not giving up, trying to fight for that 12th spot in the end.
Yeah, these are all vultured spots now.
Absolutely.
They're up a battle for 10th.
Yeah, as my timing scoring changed right there. Yeah, a battle for a top 10. So I think this would be a really good result for both these guys.
Unfortunately, they're going to have the same situation happen over and over as the lead lap cars start to come through.
Samuel thought about it a little bit, but he's got to think of it in this next section. They're going to get a good run off this corner, and this is where you want to try to make that move, not going into the carousel. But he's right there. I think Pierre is feeling the heat a little bit. Of course, they got Justin Weaver behind them as well.
Probably the best battle on the track, so let's take this opportunity to watch a little racing here at Sonoma. Now, while this is going on, Andrew Kinsella has ran down and passed Jason Galvin. My guess is, and of course I could be wrong, and most of the time I am, my guess is this is Galvin pedaling the car a bit with a fuel issue.
Yeah, Adam's been on a little bit of a Andrew, sorry, has been on a tear since his incident early on, but I didn't think he had the pace to catch Jason. So yeah, like I said, Jason might be having to just save a little bit of fuel to get to the end, because Adam at the moment has just dusted off Jason.
Yeah, and he's losing ground actually to Bob Mikas is gaining on him. Now Mikas is back over 9 seconds, but he's coming. So this is Galvin just trying to nurse the car home, I think. We'll keep an eye on that interval. Mark it down on your clipboards, boys and girls. 9.2 seconds here with 8 laps to go between Galvin and Bob Mike.
Ooh, right behind him. These two guys get together right behind Galvin. I don't know who that was, but they got together at the top of the hill.
I think it might have been Michael Gray. Is that the one we're looking at there? Michael Gray got into it with getting loose in front of him, Big Joe Hasser. It's not Michael's fault.
No, he's just one of those things. Same thing that Dan Guerin had a problem with, and just clips him and rips off his front wing and mows the little dirt there.
Just so you know, it's never your fault if you're racing the GSRC onboard camera car. I'll always be able to find some reason why you were not to blame. That one was an easy one.
So we're up to what, 7 cars on the lead lap. I'm really surprised at that. But you know, these guys have had their issues, and Adam Blocker has not. So he's able to just kind of go right through the field like a hot knife through butter.
Sad news for carnivores everywhere. The next one to go a lap down, Bob Mikas.
And then we must have had an issue with Pierre Daigle, because Samuel Ryman is now in 10th and Pierre is down to 13th, it looks like. I missed that, but those guys were battling out for that 10th spot.
So Ryman works his way up. He's in that rookie championship as well. So now we have a battle for 11th, Wardlow and Weaver, although not really a fair fight here, as Weaver probably has fresher rubber. Oh! As I say that, he needs all the rubber he can use to keep himself out of the tires. Well, sorry, Justin.
Yeah, just pushing a little too hard.
It wasn't my fault. The director had a sitter on that one. Let's go up to our leaders. He's about to put Bob Mikas a lap down. My gosh, this is a pasting going on here.
Yeah, these road courses have been Adam's specialty. Ooh, that was close. That's what I said. His only enemy right now is somebody else spinning out in front of him. And he's had some close calls. That's like the 3rd time I think that was close.
All right, well, he's coming up on a battle for 15th. This is Big Joe Asser trying to fend off Tyler Groff. You're right, Richie. It's not the first time that Blockers had stuff happen in front of him. My gosh, he's got all the time in the world, but he's going to dive down in there.
Those guys got out of the way for him, so that's good racing. Now he's got Big Joe in front of him. He's just got to be patient, and I think he has, but he's also been a little lucky. And, ooh, Big Joe almost goes off right in front of him.
Yes.
Right now, Adam's having a heart attack. Just got to get some clean space.
He goes by, and now the battle continues back there. Let's go ahead and stick on that one for a minute. Hassard and Groff. Groff has a run. Is he going to force it down into one? A little too far back. With 4 laps to go, we can give these guys a little love. That's Bob Mikas coming back behind. I think Bob's going to give these guys a wide berth here. 14 seconds back to Brian Beard and 8th. Bob does not need to get into this mix. Oh, a good run from Groff. Let's see if he forces the issue.
He's going to try to go the long way around here. You can see all the marbles on the ground. It's not a good spot. But he does get a good run coming up into turn 7. Let's see if he stuffs it in there. And not quite. So he's going to try to get him down at the turn 11 hairpin if he can stick with him through the S's.
I think we can afford to stay on this battle a little longer. Nope, we're going to go to Simon Ryman. Our directors found something more interesting. Ryman. And that's Dustin Mortal, remember? The fresh Candyman gets around Ryman now, works his way up in the 10th. We'll watch it on replay.
Well, that's a bold move right there. So just that's called just forcing the issue, and fortunately Sam saw it.
And now we go back live, pick up where we left off there with Groff. And that seems to have broken up a bit.
Yeah, Tyler's actually got by Big Joe there. We were watching that battle, and
yeah,
he is Big Joe is got some grip issues out there at the moment.
So Groff comfortably up in 15th now. 3 laps of racing to go. Adam Blocker 19 seconds. The only thing between him and a win is an incident from a back marker. The next car he gets or has to go around is Jason Galvin. racing in 6th. All right, you little soldiers in Clip Support Army, I told you to mark it down. That interval was 10 seconds between Galvin and Micus. It is now 6. Krahula just looped the car around right in front of Andrew Kinsella. He gets the car back out there. He's only going to cost him 1 position.
Yep,
He falls back to 5th.
Over the top of the hill and lost it. And fortunately, Andrew misses him, and Andrew's worked hard to get back to that 4th spot after the issue he had. So, kudos to him. And fortunately, James only lost 1 spot in that spin.
Up, and Galvin has an issue. That's an interesting racing line. Maybe we can take a look at this one as the leader. My gosh, guess who was right behind Galvin when he did something weird? That's right, it's Blocker. Whee! You know what? Blocker's a great guy to take to Disneyland with you. They have those long lines, just move in line, and people just fall out of the way. You'll get to be on the Matterhorn in no time. Now this is Galvin in 6th.
Oh boy, Galvin off the track. He's able to keep it going, but he does lose another position. He does have some front wing damage, so I'm sure that's not helping his cause any.
All right, so Bob Micus does get that position with a little help from Galvin, putting the car off into the dirt. The white flag is out. Can't come soon enough for Adam Blocker. Good news for Adam. I don't see anybody that's going to cause you trouble before you get to the checkered flag.
Now everybody's separated out, although Bob Micus and Jason Galvin are still fairly close, about a second apart. Everybody else is separated out by quite a bit.
Five cars are going to finish on the lead lap. Adam Blocker might have not been the fastest car. Alex Saunders out there when Saunders left. That's all there is. Final corner here, Richie. They come around the hairpin. Round number 12 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series. The GSRC Grand Prix at Sonoma goes to Adam Blocker.
Yeah, he basically swept the field up there once Alex Saunders was out. His biggest problem was just the lap cars spinning out in front of him. Michael Goodman coming around to take second place. Great job to him. He started 4th and 2nd.
Finishing 1 lap down for Jason Galvin might have been the best thing that could happen to him, as he didn't have to put in that extra lap. He only had to go 49. Check the flag.
Steven Larkamp getting a great podium position, our rookie leader, and Andrew Kinsella, if he can hold on here right at the end. He's had to come through the field twice now and had to get his car repaired. So he's going to come in probably, maybe not happy 4th place, but a deserved 4th place here. Nice job to him.
Winning a championship is making lemonade out of lemons, and that's what Havakech did today. James Krahula, after having a spin, cost him a position. He could have had 4th, but he'll bring that car to the finish in 5th. All right, the racing is over here at Sonoma. Our broadcast is far from done. What we're going to do is take a short break. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in the field.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the GSRC Grand Prix of Sonoma and the Plasma Track Victory Lane post-race show. You know, when it's, and you can hear the bells at the local mission, the Santa Andretti, going off right now, celebrating the win of Adam Blocker. And while those go off, I'd like to remind you that if you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, you know, I have the website for you. Plasma-Tracks.com not only produces original race track wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words cannot do justice to the wonderfulness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself, but be warned, one visit and the next thing you know is you'll be trying to convince your wife or spouse why you need a Plasma Track wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use the promo code LRS2018 to get 25% off your order. That's LRS2018. And now let's bring you 100% of the HPP finishing order brought to you courtesy of HPP Simulations. All right, it was Adam Blocker who comes home with the win. He's going to help him in the point standings. He comes home ahead of Michael Goodman. Stefan Larkamp, our top rookie, gets the final podium spot. Andrew Kinsella will settle for fourth ahead of James Krahula. Bob Mikas, we documented what he did all race. Got to be happy, up 14 spots. First car one lap down in sixth. Jason Galvin in seventh. Brian Beard and Dustin Wardlow go eighth and ninth. Rounding out your top 10, Pierre Nadendegla.
Yeah, coming in 11th, we had Scott Bolster, had a good race, 21st to 11th spot. Samuel Ryman also had a good run here, coming in 12th. Bart Workman had a little bit of some interesting runs there. He finished 13th. Same thing with Justin Weaver, was running a little higher than that. Might be a little disappointed with that finish, but comes in 14th. Tyler Graff, 15th. Big Joe in 16th. Joe Brandt in 17th. Matthew Mercer, Ron Hacker, and Ed Tutwiler round out the top 20.
In Blackjack, the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray, Tony Showen. These guys were all multiple laps down. Vincent Blumenthal, Joe Kennigan, Flanagan, Robert Bluen, Isaiah Dupree. We saw him have his issues. Woody Mahan, Greg West. My gosh, the attrition is just horrendous. Dan Guerin. Well, he's been avoiding the bad luck that he found early on. Well, it found him again here in race number 12. Alex Saunders led for a long time. He's going to have to settle for 30th. Remember, there are drop races. Brian is not easy being Greenlee in 31st. Ian Adams. Brian Yazik settles for 33rd. Peter Edwins, Jack Bogan, Mitchell Moeller, Chris Stouffer, Dylan McKenna. Somebody named Richie Hearn and Cody Wenzen round out your field. All right, let's go to interviews. We'll let Richie take the very first one. Who do we have up there today? And we're going to have Richie Hearn talk to our race winner, Adam Blocker.
Adam, great job out there. Qualified second, had a battle with Alex there for a little bit. But man, once Alex was kind of out of the way, you had an easy go about it.
Yeah, man, it was tough. Qualifying, I definitely had some left. I felt like I could have done an 11 or at least a lap that would have beat Saunders. I had a really good first lap, and that ended up being my best lap, but the other ones are just kind of scrappy, pushing too hard. So that was one of those tracks where you kind of have to be patient and just let the lap come to you, and it's hard to do that in qualifying when you're pushing hard. But yeah, early in the race, I made a mistake on like the first or second lap, went wide at the sweeping right-hander at the end of the lap, and Dan got past me into the hairpin. But I knew I couldn't afford to let him, stay in front of me because it's hard to pass at Sonoma, so I used push to pass on the front straight, got him back immediately. Was pretty aggressive on the brakes. Then Saunders, I had comparable pace to Saunders, but I kept getting stuck behind traffic in the wrong places. It wasn't necessarily anything the traffic was doing wrong. It was just, I would just catch him at a bad part of the lap, and Sonoma was, hard to let people by. So yeah, I lost, a few seconds in that deal, and then I'm not sure what happened with Saunders and Greenlee, but I made that time back, and then coming out of the pits, I was a couple seconds behind him and reeled it in and passed him in one of the corners, and yeah, and then after that, I guess he just pulled off and quit. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, after that, it was pretty easy. Hit my fuel numbers without even really trying, just wait until I get to traffic, then lift, and go from there.
Yeah, you had like I said, a good go to it at it after Saunders dropped out. But we were commenting on here that you had some luck going on. You had quite a few lap cars spin out in front of you, including a big mess down there in the hairpin. And fortunately, that was probably your biggest challenge, was trying to just stay out of their way.
Yeah, quite a few is an understatement. I lost count, but most of the people, when they spun off the racing line, so I didn't have to worry about it. But there were a few cars that went off in front of me. I didn't know where they were going to go, or they almost lost it, so I just lifted, because I had enough of a lead where I didn't have to worry about it, and I have to worry about the point situation, so I didn't want to take any chances. But yeah, you're right. The hairpin situation was the trickiest, because I'm on a single screen, and a small one at that, so all I could hear was my spotter saying, car stopped on the right side, but I can't see it until I got halfway around the hairpin. So I kind of took it carefully, and I'm like, oh crap, okay, there's a big thing on the right, so I just straightened the wheel and went slowly around them and made it. So it was basically a car park at the hairpin. Not sure what happened, but I was definitely, just looking forward to the next race.
And that's our winner, Adam Blocker.
And he'll move up the point standings, as well as it's going to be a close one, as his big rival Andrew Kinsella finished fourth, even though they are teammates. Let's go ahead and talk to the driver who finished second, and that would be Michael Goodman. We'll bring Michael down in here in just a second. Here he comes, Michael. Bring him in here, and now he comes in. Michael, you have a copy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Here, congratulations on second place. I think you had yourself a top 5 car, and you just managed to keep your nose out of trouble, and you found yourself second place.
No, I did. I had a great car. It's just the same stuff, trying to save fuel and whatnot. Took my mind off of that, but it turned out, I just kept my nose clean, and I came home second, but turned out to be a good night. So
let's talk about fuel for a minute, because we know that the window was really tight. Did you have to conserve to get to that magic number?
Me personally, I did. The first stint, there wasn't a problem as far as saving fuel, but the second and third stint, I had to save a lap worth of fuel, and for me, trying to save fuel is extremely tough. But obviously, there are a lot of people that could do it better than I can. But fortunately, the way the circumstances went and stuff like that, I actually did a good job saving fuel. And on that last stint, I actually had a half of the gallon left when I crossed the start-finish line. So I saved quite a bit for that last lap.
For new viewers, the Lionheart IndyCar Series is a fixed setup league, so you don't get to dial down the mix. You got to do it the old-fashioned way, don't you?
Yes. Yep. You got to stay off the throttle, or coast through the turns, coast to the turns, and stuff like that. And like I said, me personally, I have a hard time doing it. There's a lot of guys that could do it a lot better than I can.
Well, you did what you needed to do to get you to second position, so congratulations on a nice, clean run. Good luck the rest of the second half of the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Michael
Goodman, a second-place finisher today. Next up, I believe we are going to have, do we have Stefan Larkamp? Here we go. We'll let Richie talk to our top rookie.
Steven, you got a copy.
Hey, guys, you miss me?
Hey, man, great run. Gone all the way up, starting 7th up to 3rd spot. Obviously, you're our butt kicker rookie of the year leaderboard on there, and this is going to be good for the points. So just give us a little insight on how your race went.
It's definitely going to be good for my season for sure. And I was quite a bit disappointed with my qualifying time because I was able to run 4s on some of the Q runs I did in practice. And starting 7th, I think I could have started in the top 5, but I knew going into this race, it seems to be the nature of Sonoma, that this is a race where dealing with lap traffic and perhaps a little and not making any serious mistakes, that's the key to success at this place. And I'm sure Adam experienced quite a bit of that. There was a lot of lap traffic in the way, and it's made pretty difficult here at Sonoma because there aren't really too many good places to make a pass. Sure, you got the 2 hairpins, but other than that, there's not much else. You really got to pick your chances here. And unfortunately, I may have picked the wrong one at one point. I tried to go by, I believe it was Hassard, and I checked up Guerin and Weaver behind me, and they got together in an instant there, and that kind of ruined a good battle that we were having there, and I really do feel sorry for those guys. But overall, fantastic run today. I expected the top 5 result, but I didn't expect a podium, but that felt really good.
Yeah, I bet it did, because like you said, dealing with lap traffic was probably an understatement. We only had 5 cars finish on the lead lap, so everybody was dealing with traffic, and Adam did have some issues in front of him, and we did see that incident. We did cover that incident you were talking about, and it was just unfortunate. But either way, man, good job surviving the event. This is a tough track, and good luck the rest of the year here.
Oh yeah, should be a good second half of the season. Can't wait to get it rolling.
All right, that's Steven Larkamp, our 3rd place finisher.
And that's going to do it for interviews here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Let's go ahead and thank the people that make this possible. How about First Medical Equipment? They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. Also, it's Richie's turn.
Yeah, we got Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass producing and haptic immersion. That's a powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver to car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com, and please use the promo code LION20, that's the number 20, to get 20% off your next order.
And when it's time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit www.hppsimulation.com.
And to contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to the LionheartRacingSeries.com, click on the 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo.
On the screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes. You're watching a GSRC Productions comes courtesy of Eric Echolm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
The Lionheart Series returns in 1 week, August 29th for round 13th at the Wild Texas Motor Speedway. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down in your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button.
Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Richie Hearn, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun. Storm to the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.